All
Okay, y'all hear me now?
right.
Sorry,
We
my
are
kid.
live.
Can you hear me now, Michael?
Yes, I can hear you now. Your kitten just fell in a tall box.
Leave Moscato El Gato alone.
Oh no, he's in the
Moscato El Gato.
bathroom.
Moscato El Gato Agosto.
Speaking
Domo
of,
arigato, Mr. Moscato. Domo.
Domo.
He's been hanging out in his
Sorry.
carrier that he hates. He's
He's got,
sleeping in his.
well, since Lulu is here, my grand doggy, and he just got fixated and testicled. He's staying over with Mike with his cone of shame.
Oh,
No, I think
Yeah.
he's
got
without his cone because he couldn't eat.
Poor little baby.
Just throw little treats in the cone and then you
I know. I said just spoon feed the baby.
play the bozo game.
But yeah, the bozo
I've
game.
seen people put like flat collars on them instead of cones.
That's
Yeah.
They can't like pin their neck down, but they can eat and drink and
Go around.
Oh, hey guys, check out my new fancy headboard.
Ooh, fancy button headboard. You fancy.
At the Amazon. I was so fancy.
Amazon, everything Amazon. Everything
is
new
Amazon
setup.
in my life.
I got a ring light. Look how fancy. You can see it in my glasses.
I know. Look at I can see it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just in here.
I guess we should start our book club.
Okay, well, first I was going to talk about the new ice cream / coffee shop I have literally across the street from my apartment, and I just had dark chocolate peanut butter ice cream before we started here.
Okay, that is a mental note. I have to still come and visit the winery, and this needs to happen soon. So
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I got to go cut from work before coming. We have to go wine clubs.
That's awesome.
Well, you're allowed to open carry if it's plastic in Utica.
Rarely. This is a fun fact. This is a good knowledge here.
So,
okay.
First of all, love the book.
Loved it.
So we got the book, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig.
Who else got like goosebumps the first 2 chapters? Like
I absolutely loved it.
I loved it.
And my friend Marilyn, who doesn't like anything, hated it.
She hated it?
Yes. She's like, I mean, like a lot of the ones we've been reading, she just doesn't like. She didn't like. She hated the one I gave you, I Am the Cheese. Hated it. Thought it was terrible, stupid. She's so. I didn't even give her like the one that we all didn't like. I didn't even give her that one.
You're like, nah, man.
Silent Patient. She was kind of which we all thought was spectacular.
Excellent. The Silent Patient is so good.
And then what's the one we read last time?
No Good Deed.
No Good Deed. Loved it. She didn't like it, but she was like okay with it. This one, she goes, wow. She was partway into it, and she goes, well, I do not like this person at all. I said, what do you mean you don't like it? She goes, I don't like people who are like, oh, poor pity me. Oh, I'm so pathetic. I'm so sad. And I go, well, you need to keep reading. That's where she is now because she's contemplating suicide and she doesn't like her life. So you need to read it. Are you in the library? She goes, well, I just got there. She hasn't had an adventure. I said, okay.
Oh,
just starts reading the adventures. And then she's like, everything is poor, pitiful me. Oh, I'm poor, pitiful me. Oh, this is pathetic. Oh, God, I'm so. I said, I am not getting that. Then she finished it and she said, oh, it's just angst. It's just poor, pitiful me the whole way through. And I said, I did not get that at all.
No,
I did not get that at all.
You saw her, like, definitely saw her getting stronger, in my opinion, during the Polar Exposition, like when she went into the glaciers, and she wanted to be like and I love the fact that her librarian from school was the one helping her through the library.
Right.
Yes.
But we're gonna start from the get-go. Lauren.
Okay, so I picked this book because it was between a tussle. I have my little books here between The Bone Shard Daughter and
I still need to read that one.
Yeah, this one it's on my book list. Okay, so I got really deep into book TikTok. So like I have all these books that I'm just so excited to read. But anyways, this was actually kind of recommended with that book. Yeah. And it was also the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue was with if they're like, if you like that book, you're gonna love this book.
Yeah.
So I was like, we all love that book. So most of us
We
did.
did.
So I was like, this book sounds really
Except
interesting.
my friend Marilyn.
Yeah,
Your friend Marilyn.
Marilyn.
No, I wouldn't give it to her because I knew how she'd be, so I didn't.
So this one, I decided to pick it, and I thought it was really good. And off the bat, I'm just gonna say, did anybody else get Quantum Leap Sliders vibe? Which they actually had the sliders.
I did, and it was amazing because like she could feel herself like disintegrating.
You mean sliding doors? You mean sliding doors, right?
Yes, and like I did really enjoy it because it was like I kind of guessed how it was gonna end.
Yeah,
I hoped it would end that way.
Yeah, but I'm like, I wanted to see where she was going with this and how she was realizing that by every life choice it was different, and some of it I got a little angry about. I'm gonna be like, I get angry about certain moments, but
I probably got angry at the same time too. We seem to get angry at the same time.
It was like everything's a perfect life except for one thing, and I'm like, really? We're gonna complain about the one thing. The one thing. It's like, okay, your friend's not talking to you, your friend died in a car accident, blah blah blah. But everything else is perfect. So it did kind of make me realize it's like it's as the human error, we're gonna focus on the negative. And I think that was her lesson, to stop focusing on the negative in life and start focusing on the positive, which to me was a beautiful message. And the ending kind of, I was like teary-eyed.
That's exactly the way I wanted it to end. And
yes,
it's not been very often.
With her brother and the librarian, and I'm just like, oh my god! And they left it open for so many possibilities, and I love that. But it was kind of cool to see it, like when I heard because I did audiobook, because
Oh right, yeah.
And they say the names of the chapter in between, like in the beginning when they're reading it, and it's like the many lives of, and I'm like, oh, we're going there. And I was just like, when you heard like, I did this in one life, I did this in one life, I did that in one life, and it was just like, wow. And that's what pulled me in deeper, in my opinion, the whole fact that she went through multiple stages of her life and got to see what the possibilities would have been with her book of regrets. And I did love the book of regrets. That was awesome. I thought that was like the best thing.
They all had that book.
Yeah. Oh, Jason's over here. Yeah. Say hi, Jason.
Hello.
Yeah, Jason. Hi. Hi. Patrick.
You didn't tell me about the book of regrets. That's literally what that show, Being Erica, I told you.
Oh, he's talking about a show called Being Erica. That's literally like the book, but I never watched it, so I don't
know that.
Literally, she filled out her book of regrets, and that was what she was going back and doing.
Oh,
I see.
2009, so maybe
she was trying to correct her mistakes.
Exactly, and again, the whole point of the thing was learning to accept your mistakes and how they led to your life.
Yeah, which is this.
Don't
but
ruin my book, Jason.
To live.
We're like, hey, Matt, you got some explaining to do. There's a TV.
Here, why don't you go take your BBC blanket and just go to sleep? But night.
I thought it was like It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, Pat, come over here. Patrick.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's that wonderful life. Like, you're seeing the possibilities.
Where he says, I wish hi.
Look who's there.
Hi, Patrick.
Look, he cut off the afro.
I see.
Oh, clean shot.
I know, my little Bubba. Yes, let us all celebrate. Patrick is a graduate of the college.
Ooh, congratulations. Cheers. We drink to that.
We're going to drink to you and also our book. But you're more important. But we just kind of drink. Oh, ladies, what was your opinion on why they picked the people, like, the one gentleman that she met in the expedition, that it was it his uncle or his dad or grandfather?
Hugo?
Hugo.
Yeah, it was his uncle.
Yeah.
So there was I was looking at book club questions, and one of them was like, why was Mrs. Elm picked? Do you think she was picked to be the person to lead her on the journey through the library.
I think
they had a past history.
Yeah,
I think it was like
they touched on it in the book.
Yeah, like she felt like it picks people that you felt like the most safest with or secure with.
Yeah.
So they kind of like help you guide, like as a good, like solid guide for you because you felt that comfortability with that person. So for her, it was Miss Elm because she was there when the news of her father died.
Yeah.
And that was that extreme
and she
comfort.
pushed her. Like she was pushing her, like, maybe you can do this with your life. Maybe you can do that with your life when she was a little girl. And it was like, she not only did she comfort her, I think, but she made her realize that she had many choices in life, but she kind of shut that down. And like, we all do that. We all do
that. We all have that book.
Yeah.
We all wonder how things would be if we had done this instead of this.
Exactly. And then that part when in the ending, when the library is like, can we do spoilers?
Yeah, you can do spoilers. So there's like every time I was like, spoiler alert. We're talking
spoiler
about the book.
alert. In the final chapter where the library is falling apart and she's trying to write the last sentence in her story. And it's like, write this. I kept saying, Nora wants to live. Nora's alive. Nora's alive. Nora's alive. Just keep writing. And she's just like, ah. And I'm just like, listen, girl, seriously, listen to me. Right? Nora wants to live. And to me, it was a very beautiful story. God, it was so beautiful. It gave me goosebumps the first 2 and 3 chapters. I was already having goosebumps. I loved it.
I love it. And it was very sliding doors to me. Too. I mean, I got that too. It's a Wonderful Life, and
yeah,
you know, I loved. What was that I was going to say? I thought it was interesting how when she was in one of maybe her other lives, there's still elements out in the world that she's exposed to. So, like at some point, she's doing
Vineyard,
and that movie star. There's something about that movie star.
Yes.
That's brought in, and she's like, I had a life where I was with him.
And I had a life where I was married to that guy in the vineyard, but now he's married to this person.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted her to pursue Ash in the end. I did. I'm like, go ask him for coffee. Because, she saw that was one of her biggest regrets was not pursuing that, not pursuing her music career. But she did it in her own way in the end, which I thought was beautiful, the way they interpreted it.
I mean, I thought she was going to go end up with him, don't you?
Yeah, Ash was
I did too.
Awesome.
I feel like she's going to get that life.
And I wanted, her little daughter was so damn cute.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay. And like when she hurt herself in the tricycle, and I'm just like, oh God, no, I'm just
little Molly
right now. I can't.
I think she is gonna like eventually get to that life, but like start it where she like actually build onto it, because when she first jumped into that life, she's like, well, I have a kid, I have all this stuff. I think
this is not my life. She kept
it's not my life. She's rightfully going to get that life, which I always like. When the author started putting little snippets of Ash in there, I was like, oh, it's a simple, you go for the coffee, girl. And that's the decision that you made.
The guy who tells you your putty cat is dead.
Oh, little kitty.
Right.
I know. I don't even want to talk about the putty cat. That was just like Voltaire.
Voltaire.
Voltaire. But I'm like, no, her cat. That's it. She's dead. She's gonna kill herself. The cat's dead. She lost her job. This is happening. Her mommy died. I'm just like, oh God, things are happening. Oh no, the cat. And then with the cat to me was the turning point. It's like, oh no, I know where this is going. And this is
my negative Nancy friend. I just, come on. I just never. She's like, I said, I just never got that. I thought all the way through that she was trying to have another life. Like they put her in this life, and she'd be like, cool. Let's see what this life. I never saw it was like, oh, this life's terrible too.
Yeah.
That's how she interpreted it.
And the way I saw her behavior, like a lot of people can see it as negative, but in all honesty, it's how people deal with depression and the way they view things, and how we think it's everything that we did was wrong, but it's not. And it's like had a hard time dealing with the cards that were dealt to her. But then when she saw all the possibilities she had in life, all the good and all the bad.
Right.
The one thing with the brother, oh my God, that kind of broke my heart.
Right.
She had everything
Yeah.
she wanted in a career, everything, world, like top of the world, everything, but her brother died. And then she couldn't handle that. And it was like she pulled right in and went back to the library. So, and in the end, when he just showed up and he's telling, well, there's this one guy I really like. She goes, date him. Date him. It's fine. Just
Yeah.
him.
That sounds great.
Oh, I love that.
I know. I love that. I loved how it worked, but I never got that it was, what I got was like, oh, shit. Yeah. Here I've been thinking this would be this great life, and it really isn't. Well, darn it. I mean, that's kind of what I got.
And I think what your friend was thinking, it's like there kind of is that progression where she is kind of like, you're in that depression, you're in that darkness for so long, like you just can't see the positive in life. So then that's her journey, is that she's in this darkness where she's not really self-angsty, she's in depression. And then she's trying to find like she's her light in her life, or like something that she feels that she has some meaning to it. So that's her journey onto it. And it's like some people be like, oh my goodness, she just didn't like that. She should be, no, because to each his own, their journey is different. If there's something that doesn't sit comfortably, that she goes and you continue. And that's kind of just how life is. Right. You deal with the cards that are dealt with you. Yes, you have that foundation of darkness, but you're always going to you're going to choose that higher path. Like, here's my light. And that's what she goes for.
That she says, life begins where desperation ends. And that was like the most poignant part of the book. And then like when Mrs. Elm said, I'm trying to remember exactly what she said, because I was trying to make notes, but then people kept calling me on the phone, and then that ruined the moment. But it was about, you can't explain life, you just gonna live it.
You gotta live it.
You gotta live it. You can't explain life, you just have to live it. And that was, I think, the main foundation of the storyline. Was she lived her life for what she thought other people wanted, and she never lived her life for what she wanted to do. And then in the end, she realized that the possibilities she kept coming up with in all these alternate universes and with the string theory and everything was based on what she thought would make her life better by what other people thought, or like her dad wanted this, her brother wanted that, her friend Izzy wanted this. And when she started thinking about what, I want a simple life, I want a happy life, and then it started getting interesting there, where she was like, okay, I'm not going to think about what other people want for me, I'm going to think what would make me happy. And then she got to that point where she thought she found the perfect life, and then she got pulled back and she was mad.
Yeah.
And I really got pulled in that section, because it's like, okay, she has a perfect life. She was teaching in spoiler alert, teaching in Cambridge, had the doctor husband, had the adorable daughter, was quitting her job to write a book based on Walden. And it was like all the things she would want in her life. And it was the ultimate whatevs, but she felt bad because it wasn't her life.
It wasn't right because she jumped into it.
Yeah, she's like, I'm taking
build that life. She needed to make that life.
Yeah. She got to started it from a seed and grow it. And that's what I like about it. It's like she realized that her disappointments and her regrets were actually not her disappointment and regrets. They're other people's what influences on her. Yeah. And so you start to claw away that shell of like, even just like when a person reading this book, you're like, hey, maybe I can start to self-analyze myself as like, you know what? That's a really good perspective on that. It's like, I regret this, but do I really regret that? That's just because it's a disappointment for this person.
I disappointed this person, or I made this person angry, or I didn't live up to this person's expectation. And that's like something I told you, Lauren, to be exact, about 5 years ago. When you hit 40, you stop caring what other people think. It's a wonderful upcline, not a decline.
I heard
it is an upcline. And you are just like, you know what? No is a sentence. I don't have to say I am sorry, and I'm going to do what makes me happy. And I think that whole expectation of everything kind of pushed her forward towards that, where you're just like, what's going to make me happy? Why am I jumping into someone else's life? Why am I sitting there searching someone's Facebook and social media pages, doing email searches, like,
Just
every
to find
life
out
she
about
jumped into.
myself.
Yeah. And she got to that point where she had like this mentality, okay, I'm in this person's life. Let me grab my phone. Let me go downstairs and see who this person is. And it was like, can you imagine living like that?
No,
like jumping life to life, not knowing
that's
who you
just
are.
the thing. She wasn't planning to live at all. She had taken an overdose and was planning to die anyway. So all this stuff was like, oh, wait a minute. They're like other possibilities. And as it goes on, and then she gets with the guy and she's like, wait a minute. My life could actually be good. And then she found there were lives without her best friend in it, and she's like, well, I don't want to live without my best friend in my life. And her brother dies, and she's like, wait a minute, I don't want to live without my brother in my life. And I thought the toughest thing, and it was probably tougher for you, Sophia, than any of the rest of us, is when she is talking to the stepmother who says, oh yeah, here's your dad now, you want to talk to him? And she's like, my dad's alive.
That
and
was
I thought of you.
hard. I'm just like, here's her dad. He's alive.
Because I would give anything to have that phone call.
Yeah.
But it's never going to happen. And because I'm not going to go in the library, and my dad isn't going to get on the phone ever again. But it got to me,
It was hard, and
I feel bad for you.
And then, like, the whole silence part is understandable, because, like, if you're on your phone and your dad died when you were 12.
Yeah.
And you're in your 30s, and he's like, do you want to talk to your dad? Here he is. And you're like, hi. Like, that was like the first words out of her mouth. She's like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do?
Right.
So that was to me, the whole basis was the whole imposter syndrome, the whole thing that, as I'm going deep. Let's go deep, kids. We're going into the whole imposter syndrome with women, where we feel that we have to be a certain way in our lives, and we have to live a certain way in our lives. And if we don't do it, we are living a lie life, and we're trying to fake our way through it. So I think that's what they kind of touch with this a little bit.
I guess.
And
try to be pleasers.
Yeah, and we're trying to live our life based on what people wanted us to be, instead of like, what do I want to do? And I kind of like the guy with the dogs. I really did. I'm like, why are you now with the guy with the dogs?
What was his name? Oh no, Toby?
And wine, and you're going to have...
Isn't she with him in one life?
Yeah, and then she saw him walking later, and I'm just like, go after the guy with the dogs. He was so nice. The dog guy was awesome. You had dogs, you had kitties in the house.
Yeah, but they weren't right.
She's like, I don't love him, because she jumped into this life, and it's like, I'm putting myself in this situation going, what if I was her? If I'm jumping from life to life, and you have to pretend to love this person you're married to, or this child that you've never met in your entire life? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. And then I think that's the whole purpose of the Midnight Library, is that you have these endless, infinite amount of possibilities to go jump into these lives. But the goal really is to realize that you'll never feel complete in these lives, because these lives are not something that you grew within yourself, and like you were actually experienced from the beginning to where you presently are. So then you start to realize how your life that you have already is wonderful. It's full of possibilities. You don't have to have a midnight library to do that. You can just go and do that with the next day. Like within every second, you have possibilities.
And yes, we're going to focus, as humans, we focus on the negative. We focus on the things that are like not perfect and not the way we want them to be. But if they weren't there, we wouldn't be who we are. And that's something that takes us a long time to realize.
Even with a perfect life, you're still not fulfilled, because it's just, you're going to have that boredom. And I think she even had like that boredom too. It's just like, you're going to find something.
Yeah.
And life, a really great life is going to have their good and their bads. And that it comes with it. It comes with growing and then realizing who you are, because you're constantly growing. So the day you die, you're always figuring out yourself. So I really liked how, because I already kind of knew like, oh, this is where this journey is going to be. And
like, oh, this is going to go dark.
Yeah.
It's going dark.
I can't wait to
love when it
see
goes
the
dark.
adventures. Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
did like her jumping into these lives. She did grow, like where she was in the Arctic Circle or whatever,
Yeah.
her strength and like her
the
will
polar
to
bear
live.
and-
Yeah,
bear.
the polar bear
The
incident.
polar bear was the shit. I'm just like, there's a fucking bear rushing at her and she doesn't know what to do.
But see, remember, she was willing to die anyway. She took the meds and she was going to die. So she was like, come on, you know.
I think it was her fight.
Worse than I hurt myself.
Yeah, her fight to live, like what
With the
she
bear.
didn't realize until she's like, oh my God, I want to live.
I want to
And
live.
then-
I don't want this bear to kill me. And then she's like, shit, I want to live. I want to
It was
live.
an
And then she gets
awakening,
pulled
yeah.
back, and it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And, that
And I
was
like
awesome.
those little awakenings, even with men. Like she dealt with that Dan guy who was just an a-hole. Yeah, he was a dick. But then she even like she grows in her awakening and like dumping the celebrity boyfriend or just telling guys how it really is. She's like, you know what? You ain't shit. So like
ain't shit. You're a celebrity, you're right. You're like, because I'm pretty sure it was what's his name? Ryan
Bailey.
Yeah, Ryan Bailey was what's his name? God, I can't think about it. Baby Driver or what is it?
Ryan
Reynolds?
Gosling?
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
I think that they were talking about Ryan Gosling at that
I
point.
feel like they're talking about one of the Ryans, yeah.
Yeah, and
or he was.
Oh, and it's like, oh, I thought he was into philosophy. He's such a great actor. Like when she's alive, and then afterwards, he's like, well, I kind of faked that, and it was just like, really,
bummer.
Like, now I know why celebrity Nora dumped your ass. So
well, she accepted that they had broken up. Did they go into why they broke up initially?
She dumped him.
Okay.
There was always. I got a question. There was always incidents, like in lives, like the incident in Rio, or like the incident
the incident in Rio,
in Chicago. Do you remember Chicago?
Yes,
yeah,
Chicago.
and they never went into it fully, but I think the
Chicago, where she was in the lecture.
Yeah,
I think
didn't she have like scars in her arm?
Yeah,
self-harming
scars. Yeah,
they're trying to say she killed herself or tried to kill herself when she found out her brother overdosed, and it was like, yeah, we're still weak no matter how strong we are.
Yeah,
and it was a great message throughout in this book because mental illness is not something that people take seriously in the world, or they think it's just some kind of faulty, but we all have it. I mean, I love my SSRIs. Woo woo. I mean, they're the best thing ever. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't function the way I can.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think the thing that struck me, something I realized many years ago, because I'm enough older than you guys that I'm like, I came upon this,
spring
but
chicken, Becky. What
there
are
are
you talking
people,
about?
like, especially you're in your 40s, you hit 40, and your 40s are great. All my life, I think my 40s have been the coolest because your kids are enough older that they're not little tiny babies anymore, and your job is going well. I mean, most of us by then have established a job and it's going well. Your family's going well. You have a home at this point. You have stuff, and everything's going on a pretty forward track. But then you start getting a little older, and you're like, oh shit. I'm like, oh crap. You hit 60, and you're like, wait, I didn't do this, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do this, and I wish I'd done this, and I wish I'd done that.
The
and what
book of
you
regrets.
realize is, because we all have kids, right?
Yeah.
So up until having the kid, if you had changed 1 second of your life, you would not have that child.
No.
It would be something different or someone different.
That's why I've
1
never had any
second.
regrets about my choices in my
1
life.
second is all you had. So it's like, oh, I wish I'd done that. But then you say, if I had done that, I would not have this. And I would not trade this for any experience in the world.
Exactly.
So she didn't have kids yet. So she didn't realize that. And then in that one life where she had this child that she realized, oh, wait a minute, this is something I could do. She went back to look for it.
Yeah,
and I get it.
Oh my God. And then when she's telling her, like, I will always love you, always be there for you, I will always have you in my heart, and blah blah blah, when she knows she's pulling apart from the little girl, and I'm just like, oh God, no, oh don't, no, like, keep the little girl, she's still dang cute. But it's like, I understood then, it's this is not, I'm not your mom. I'm not the
Yeah.
person that
Right.
that made you, so I can't take this life.
But yeah,
And
I got all that because of, yeah.
yeah, and it was like such a heartbreaking and heartwarming and uplifting. It was like I was a glass cage of emotions in this book because it was amazing, and I think it was very well written, and it infuriated you. You fell in love with her, you hated her, you felt sorry for her, you cheered for her, you hoped that she had the good life. You were hoping she had the great life. I was kind of hoping a little bit about the Hugo. I'm like, maybe her and Hugo will get along and be like
Yeah.
a couple. And then I'm just like, no,
They
Hugo's
travel together.
well, he's kind of a douche
Yeah.
then. And then I'm just like,
Well,
okay, Hugo's
Yeah.
a douche.
I
So-
literally marked something on the Hugo thing, and I just thought I literally laughed out loud on that when they just had their sexy time.
Yeah,
And
she's
she
like,
literally
"Eh."
was so disappointed, and he knows the rules of this world of the Midnight
Right.
Library. How hurt, or I'll be like, oh my god, she went back to the library after that
Because
Like,
we had the bad sexy
imagine.
time, and it was an impressive.
It was so impressive that she went back. She reverted back to the library like that.
Yeah.
That's
Like, I would like to return this book.
Right.
you got some
It's
questions.
like,
You have to
no, thank
like
you.
question yourself.
We're
Well,
just,
Yeah.
you know, do you have anything like when it comes to like flower arrangement? I mean, you know, like, I'm just like,
Didn't she run into him in more than one life?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
got back at her by disappearing in the middle of conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did.
He would
Yeah.
get even with her, and it's like, okay, Petty LaBelle.
I know.
Phone it down.
Right.
And I did love this book. I really like to see how he's going to do with this further in his writing career, because I was very impressed in the weirdness of his writing style. I love weird. I love
Oh, this
weird.
was very Douglas Adams.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
But-
what I forgot to say too. That's what it
It
reminded
was.
me of.
Yeah. But
Oh.
and I love weird too, but it can't just trail off and be weird.
No, it was
That's
more like
what I don't like. It
emotional.
has to
I
have
need
some
emotionally
kind of-
weird.
I mean,
Simpatico weird.
In the audiobook, did they speak with English accents?
Yes, it was actually
Okay.
one of the actresses that was in Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
She was in season 12 as a multi character that came in, but I'm like, her voice sounds familiar. And it was kind of hard because she did awkward well. So I'm listening to the book and she's like, yeah, I do that. Uh-huh. And it was like she was giving you the full experience of how Nora's trying to fake through it.
I bet it's
horribly.
a good audiobook. I bet it was really
Yeah.
good.
It was a great audiobook, and I'm listening to it at work, and the kids knew I have my headphones on. It's audiobook time. You talk to me, I'm gonna cut you. So I did finish it because I had the last hour to go for the last like week, and with everything going on, I'm like, listen, I gotta listen to the last hour. I know most of it, like 20 minutes is gonna be the credits, blah blah blah. So when I did finish it, and she got to go to the nursing home
Yes.
with Mrs. Elm, and
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was so sweet.
it was just, oh my god, it just gave me the teary eyes. And it was like how she's saying she thought Mrs. Elm was like way up here, perfect, untouchable, and she's like, I was never the perfect wife, I was never the perfect mother, I let so many people down, but this is the lady who was leading her on to finding her good life. And then she realized life is not perfect. Ultimately, when she was talking to her, it's like, yeah, life is not perfect. She goes, I'm going to come and see you, I'm going to spend time with you. And it was just like very to me, heartwarming, and I really enjoyed how it ended, because he didn't just tie everything up in the Dos Ex Machina bullshit. And
Right. But he did tie it up, which is what I
he
appreciate.
tied it up properly, and I did enjoy that part. It's like, respect your readers, first of all, because if you're gonna make it a messy ending, we're done.
Yeah.
Right.
But he did it properly, and I really enjoyed that.
And the
So-
neighbor with the flowers.
Oh my god, that neighbor, I love him so much. Where she's like, I
Aw.
messed up, I did something bad, and he's like, oh no, and I was just like,
I'll help you. I'll help you.
I'd be like, I'll help you, and then she just poof, and I was just like, oh no, I hope he's okay, you know. And it was like heartbreaking when she went to go visit him, and he didn't know who she was, and it was just like,
Oh, I know.
"Aw." But it was just an amazing book. I think it topped Anthony Doerr in The Light We Cannot See. to me.
Oh, I definitely thought it topped that because the ending of that I thought was dreadful.
Yeah, that ending was like, really?
I thought he just dropped it. It was like, oh, we went all this, and they're like, oh, well, that's done. It's buried in here.
It was like, plaque. This is how it ends.
Why did you take me all the way through this journey and then just drop me?
And then it's like, really? This is how you're going to end it with the Varner? Really? We're not going to do that. But then he did, and I was disappointed. And now this one, it was just a beautiful ending that made sense. And philosophically, psychologically, and emotionally, it all tied together. It was a beautiful ending.
It really did tie together because it wasn't like this grandiose ending, like, oh yeah, like wrapped up in a bow, like perfect.
No,
it simply
was messy like life, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was
messy and beautiful. That's how life is.
It was a good ending where it wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't horrible.
It was like a good bowl of chili. You know, you can have a filet mignon, but sometimes you just want a good bowl of chili.
A good bowl of chili.
A good bowl of chili with some
I don't think that's his only book, is it? Is this his only book?
No, he has. He is international best-selling author of How to Stop Time.
Oh,
How to Stop Time. That sounds interesting.
Which sounds really interesting. It does.
Did you look it up? I didn't look it up.
I haven't looked it up, but I'm going to probably purchase it because I like how he wrote in here.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like kind of like a little modern day Douglas Adams kind of esque, funky weirdness.
What is it? His intro or the book leaf or something that's very very casual? Is that his? No, that wasn't his. That's another series.
Oh wait, y'all didn't see my shirt today. It says workout and whiskey. Workout and whiskey.
There you go. Mike's on board.
I needed to wear this today because if I'm gonna go work out, I needed something to be angry with, and I got this shirt. But I haven't worked out yet, so I got that going on for me.
It's the idea that counts.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, good intentions.
So my kids gave me this. It's a
oh yeah, we forgot to share
Chateau Saint Michel Riesling.
Ooh, I like that. I love a good Riesling.
Yeah, I do too. So I cracked it open they gave it to me for Mother's Day, and it's been chilling, waiting all week for this.
Nice.
Well,
just for book club.
I was originally going to open up my Vanderpump Rosé from Vanderpump. I'm in love with that wine, even though it's a reality show star. I love that rosé. It's a lovely Provence rosé. You know, I love my Provence style rosés. But tonight it was a combination of La Belle Rosé from August Hill and Angel Whispers, that I think it's called. I don't know, Crying Babies.
I can look it up.
Rosé Babies. I don't.
Rosé Babies.
Rosé Babies. What are you having, Lily?
I think I might have drank this before, but anyways, I'm still on my peach wine kick. So I'm doing this Barefoot Moscato peach.
Oh my God, that sounds good.
Oh my, it is delicious.
That would make a good sangria.
See, I love sweet wine.
So good. So good. You can drink a whole bottle in one sitting. It's so good.
I know. Like,
this is my non-sponsored sponsor of Barefoot Fruscato peach. Peach everything. I'm a big fan.
Somebody called me today at work asking if we carry blueberry wine. And I says, no, but where do you get it? And it was like, blueberry
I actually know where you can get some blueberry wine. It's in Kiwani at the Goods Furniture Store. They have cherry and blueberry wine.
I saw that they have like that winery there at a furniture store and a bed and breakfast, don't they?
Yeah,
welcome
it's
like
Aaron's like
tenderloin.
Hey, go with
I mean, you can get a couch,
cheerleading,
wine, and a tenderloin.
She's got a Barbie in her hand.
I can see her arm.
She's swinging. Come say hi, Hazel. Then you got go, Daddy.
It's the Haze, the purple
the
haze. Where is she?
Come on over here.
Oh, Hazel.
It's just us.
Oh, hi, Mama.
Hazel.
Look at that.
Hi. How are you, Hazel? Good. Good. Awesome. You are getting so big. I love it.
He's like, thank you. Thank you. All right. Beat it, kid.
Beat it, kid. Hey.
Boy, she's starting to look more and more like you all the time.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She's not the wee baby Hazel
right
anymore.
I'm like, oh my God, mini me.
I know.
A little Hillary Duff. Ron Harris.
Little Hillary.
I know. Well, okay. So what's the dealio? Who's picking the next book?
I am going to actually give it to Duran because he's the new book club, and I think because I was the last one out of all of us.
And then FYI, if you didn't notice, the silent patient guy has a new book coming in June.
What?
Oh, does he?
Yes, I think it's called The Maidens, and the early reviews are good.
His book actually is booming right now on book TikTok. Like a lot of people, I saw reviews coming on my feed. They're like, if you haven't read The Silent Patient, I was like, girl, done that. Check. Good one.
Yeah.
Love it. I actually let one of my coworkers borrow the book because I was like, you have to read this book.
But you know, I was really I was angry with that book at first. I was angry. I get angry with a lot of books. This one,
me too. I get so
did not get angry with. So let's just give bonus points to not pissing off Sophie within the first 10 chapters. That's
and we know that we'll never make my friend Marilyn happy. So
you know, we got to find a Marilyn book.
If Marilyn ever
our life purpose
likes it,
give her that book we didn't like.
Oh, the lady with the dog and the
like literally just give up reading if you did.
That was horrible.
By the way, I did my first fanfic read, and I read this Harry Potter spinoff. And if you haven't read it, it's free because it's fanfic. This person wrote an almost 900-page book.
What?
Better than the actual original Harry Potter books. It's called Manacled. And it is a Dramini fanfic, but it's so like beautifully written. I read it. This is okay. So here's a synopsis of this book. If you ever want it, it's a free PDF. It's out in the world. You can read it anywhere. Is it
on the Reddits?
It is. I think you can find it on the Reddits. But it's called Manacled. And what it is it if Harry Potter did not win the war and he dies, and it's very handmade tales. Mixed with like other like darkness, but it's very pro Hermione, which is great.
I love
it.
So I read this 900-page book within days.
I think that Hermione deserves somebody better than Ron, in my opinion.
With Draco Malfoy.
She herself has said if she had really thought it through and gone through all of it. And see, I think what happened is once she started writing them, she had the outline and then she had to just churn out the books. And I don't think she was able to give them all
I got
as much thought as she wanted to. And she said if she had done it, she probably would have put Hermione and Ron together. I mean, Hermione and Harry together, that they probably belong together.
She ends up with Draco in this book, but it's really good. It's a really good focus on something that you always wanted to focus on. Like where I think maybe there was an interview, like somebody asked J.K. Rowling, even though she's like not on our good side right now. But anyways, they asked her and she said, you know what? She read it and she really liked it. So supposedly this is from the article, but I honestly, no offense to the original Harry Potter books, I still love them. I love those books. But this was so much superior and it was just written by a fan. And she dedicated her time to writing this. And
you need to click at the linkies on the bottom of the.
I will put it actually on our group page. I'll put it and you can read it. Cool. It's just a PDF. I think they love it so much that they started trying to get it bind. But you can't because it's a fanfic. If you pay somebody to bind it, you're in trouble, because it's
I don't know what fanfic is.
Wait, explain 50 Shades.
What was that?
50 Shades was a Twilight fanfic, wasn't it?
Was it? I don't know. I never read the 50 Shades though.
Oh, don't.
I never did either.
Don't.
I did get a bunch. Okay, hold on one hot minute.
Listen, I made it through the Twilight Saga, and that's about as much bad fiction as I'm going to do. And I
did too. You know what? I love the Twilight Sagas, but looking back to it, not bad. So here is the book.
We're not talking about good writing.
If you love yourself, don't read it.
This is a Hades and Persephone book. This is their story. It's called A Touch of Darkness. This is my. I'm starting this tonight. It Ends With Us. This one, a lot of people have been loving, and they actually said it's one of their favorite books.
Oh.
So I'm actually really excited about this one. The Witch's Heart, which is
I saw that one.
yes.
Got it.
So this is like very Nordic, like Odin esque.
Oh.
And then this is
The Vikings.
everybody's like it book right now is A House on the Gurlian Sea. I think I read that right. But this one, like when I bought this, the girl at the register was like, everybody's buying this book and they're loving it. So these are like literally my books I'm gonna read within like the next couple of weeks.
I know.
Well, wait, what was the first one?
The first one was the Hades and Persephone love story, actually.
Okay,
What's it called?
A Touch of Darkness. So this one's a little spicy if you like
Is it
spicy
spicy?
books. So it's actually a little spice.
You know, either way, it doesn't matter to me.
Oh.
I'll read it without, I'll read it with, I don't care. But
Yes.
but when I looked at 50 Shades, I was like, well, this just looks like just dumb.
Yeah, I didn't read it. I encourage reading. I think this is how we started this book club, Sophia, is that people were bashing women reading 50 Shades of Grey. And I was like, how dare you? It's promoting reading in general.
And it
like
did promote it reading
Right,
in general.
it did.
I did read it and go like a lot. But it was like, at least it's promoting reading. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't agree with Harry Potter because of my religious beliefs. But it's promoting your child to read books again when children weren't reading books. So in my theory, anything that boosts people to read, other than like hate rhetoric, I'm all for. Like I spent way so much.
Yeah, I'm over all that stuff
with my kids. Like when the Harry Potter books came out, I had to buy 2 copies because I had 2 readers. $25 a pop, every book. Hunger Games, 2 books. I mean, it was like most of our money for children was books, and I paid it because I was happy they were reading. I loved the fact they were reading. Yeah, I had a lot of bag lunches, but my kids had books, and my opinion is whatever causes people to read, I'm all for it. Do I like it? Probably not, but you
got some women to read.
Links on those books.
So Hunger Games is a good one. First Hunger Games book, outstanding, amazing, loved it.
Oh,
second book, pretty good, liked it, moved it forward. Third book, horrible,
and
dreadful.
I actually did not read the Hunger Game books. I think I was I was living in Davenport working at a Barnes and Nobles and I didn't read it.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Right now I'm currently addicted to not reading. I'm going to admit to this.
It's audio. No, I love me some good audiobooks too.
No, well the audiobooks I do, but right now I was stupid and I'm involved in Discovery Plus and also Stanley Tucci. And I mean, I love my Stanley Tucci. No, I've always had a geek girl crush on Stanley
I do
Tucci.
love Stanley Tucci.
Oh, and then him in Italy, and I'm like,
not enough to get Discovery Plus.
Oh, and then the CNN with Stanley Tucci, and then also on Discovery Plus, I discovered Mysteries at the Museum, which is the show that's been going on for years, and
it's been on for ages.
Actually, one of my mom's favorites.
Oh my god! And I'm watching that and Mysteries of the Abandoned and all this stuff, and I'm like writing notes of every museum I have to go to. But the majority of the stuff that's on there is the surgical museum my daughter dragged me to, and she was in awe that they had 2 giant like big jars like where you put gumballs in, but it was gallstones, and she goes, "This is where I want my wedding, between the 2 jars of gallstones." And her fiance is looking at her like, no, and I'm like,
is she like that? Because like if I ever got married, my girlfriend would definitely want to be there. But
with
like would love that. Either that or like the Police Hall of Fame. She would want to do that. But
okay, that's kind of funny because like Jenica's fiance is in law enforcement, but she's like gallstones, and I'm like, no. First of all, no. Second of all, no. And
no.
But I'm trying to get her into the book club, but right now she's doing her classes in nursing and she's trying to get her degree finished, so I can't really harass her.
Nurses and cops, I'm telling you, there's something on nurses and cops.
I know, and then now I have my grand doggy here right now, Lulu, who is not socially, she's feral with the COVID. I tried taking her out for a walk and she barked at everyone. Tomorrow we're hosting the Sip and Snip at the winery, which is make funds for the lower cost fixing of the puppies and kitties and all of that.
Oh,
but
nice.
Can I bring my grand doggy there? No, because she's feral and barks at everyone like a social miscreant. So
I think
she's not allowed to
everybody
go.
is feral now from the past year.
I'm feral.
Months.
For God's
I'm
sake.
feral.
Do I have to wear like a colored dress and not like leggings under my dress?
You can bring your cat.
Well, Moscato El Gato with his bucket of shame, where you can't take him out right now. Poor Moscato.
Oh,
he can't eat with the bucket on, so he's sitting there without the bucket.
Well, you gotta feed him with a little spoon.
Just a wee bit spoon.
Why does he have the bucket on? Why is he wearing this cone?
He got detesticled.
Detesticled.
Detesticled, yes.
And when you have the cone off of him, is he going after the stitches, or does he really give a shit?
No, he doesn't give a shit. No. He's more worried about his feet. He got his front claws taken out too, so he's more worried about his feet.
I had to, just because he was very violent with everything that wasn't a cat toy.
Yeah,
couches.
My couches are all. My couch is all torn up.
Oh yeah, mine too. Luna had a heyday, so
yeah.
I just bought a velvet
Patty doesn't.
couch.
She's good. She only does scratchy posts, but Eddie has torn up the sofa.
And Lucy,
I feel your pain on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just like between Hazel and Luna. I'm just like one day I'll have nice things, but today's not that day.
Well, I don't know. I'm like 40 years older than you, and I
probably
It's other choices you make. You can have nice things, or you can have a pet.
The other day I woke up and Lucy decided to throw up all over the end table, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, that's always fun.
We're gonna do that, and it's like right all over it. Yep, there we go.
Maybe
but then again, I can't yell at her because this is the year of her quinceañera, and I cannot upset my kitty.
Her quinceañera?
Oh. Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
Lucy's 15.
15-year-old kitty.
15, Lucy Goosey, and she's hiding right now because she's angry.
Oh well, she'll get over it.
I know.
Hey,
She'll come out
Becky.
at Moist Food O'Clock.
Yeah.
If you end up reading this book, let me know how you feel about it. I feel like I should add a sub book club on like spicy raunchy.
I wrote it down because I got this new tablet. Like I was saying, we were at BJ's, and they're like, oh, they have these tablets for $99. It's a Samsung 8 tablet.
Oh, I saw that.
8-inch tablet, right? Yes, they have the same deal at Costco's and at Sam's, I think. They all have the same deal. But at least the ones we got anyway has another 32 gig mini thing in it as well, like a bonus expansion. So it's got a 32 gig base, which, isn't that much. But then it's got another 32 gig thing with it. So it's like a $150 tablet that's on sale for $100. Plus it's got a $15 extra card in there. And I'm like, well, this is a good deal. Because I'm pretty much Mac all the way, but a Mac tablet is like $400.
No,
or I can get this little thing. So finally, I can download my Kindle stuff onto something I can read.
I know.
Because normally I'm trying to read it on this phone, and I'm creating air with my finger flying by so fast.
I know. The one thing I do love my Kindle Unlimited because I've been able to read a lot of stuff. But then when work got overly involved, and I have 3 positions in one, because why the hell not? I'm doing audiobooks, but I have another book I was reading. It's that I bought to read, and I'm waiting to see what it's my point to get a book. But it's called Circe, and it's a goddess.
Oh yeah, I seen that. I was gonna buy that one too.
Yeah, so I have that one waiting. It's right there underneath my my Switch Lite charging, and I'm waiting on that one. But I'm also waiting to see, come summertime, all the good books come out.
Yeah.
And that's when all the big hits come out, and I'm waiting to see what's coming out this season.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up just kind of putting a little list, hey, if you're reading, just a spare reading between books, or if you have time, see if anybody else reads it, and we can
put all those posts those books that you put on there. Just make a list with the links and see, hey, you're looking for some summer reading. You're looking for something to not want to punch somebody in the face. Here, read this
not
book.
talk to people, and just associate yourself. Here you go.
Here you go.
All right, guys. I'm actually being summoned right now, so they're like, hey. So I have to keep going.
What dinner o'clock is.
But I will let Durin know, and then I will post a book that he picks. If he doesn't want to pick a book, I will just let you know who is next on picking the book. But
or maybe you'll want to put up 3 books like you do sometimes.
Yeah, or like the poll for the book. So I will let him know the whole how we usually do things and see if he would like to do that.
This is how we do it.
Cool. All right.
All right, guys.
All right, bye, guys. I will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye.